Assalamu alaikum and very warm welcome to my first ever YouTube live. I am super excited. I'm gonna wait for a few seconds to see if all's good, and I will wait for a few people to join in. I'll actually try to make it interactive. That's why I do need people to come on in live. Come on, people. Let's wait for a few more seconds. And as soon as you join in, please type in the chat or leave a comment. And as soon as you join in, please type in. All right, so it looks like someone has joined. Please leave a comment below if you can hear me well and if you're really excited to see what really happened on June 25th in the IELTS test. So basically in Pakistan, there was an IELTS test, a general training test, and in that test, basically, there were some writing questions that we will discuss today. And I will just wait just a few seconds, just a few more seconds. So people may know that we are live right now. Now, if you are preparing for the IELTS test and you want to sit anytime soon, let's say in the next couple of months, or maybe like 3 to 4 months, inshallah, then it's a good idea if you go through the stuff that I'm showing you right now. Okay, so I think we should get started. So let's get into the IELTS general training on June 25th. Let's see what really happened. Before I really show you what actually happened, I would want you to take a wild guess and think about what type of letter was given. Was it a formal letter, semi-formal, or informal letter? We know that there are 3 different types of letters that you could get. So which one did you really get? What do you think? And if you have just joined in the live, please leave a comment below, say salam, say hello, tell me where are you tuning in from? Are you which city, which country? And if you're preparing for the IELTS test anytime soon, you want to sit the test anytime soon. Now, try to guess what type of letter was given in the general training IELTS on June 25th. Was it the formal letter, semi-formal, or informal? Just take a wild guess, because obviously you cannot foresee it. It is just like when you're preparing for your test, and you just get into it after fully being fully prepared, you see. So you should be ready with your formal letter writing, your semi-formal letter writing, and your informal letter writing. You shouldn't go and sit the test when you have any doubts and when you haven't really prepared for any of these, or if you haven't really prepared for even like one of these, right? So as soon as you're ready, then obviously it's a good time to sit the test. Now, let's see. So we had, we have had this actually, and one of my students was very generous, and she told me all about it. So this was the task 1. Now I would keep quiet for 10 seconds. I would let you read it, really see the bullet points, the 3 bullet points, and I have numbered them here. And if you can notice that it is actually a semi-formal letter, right? I would let you read it, and then we will talk about it. So now you see that if we read the prompt, we get to know that the prompt really reads, your company sent you abroad to take a training course and you want to extend your stay abroad. Write to your manager. Now, you see, if we're talking about the semi-formal or formal letter is obviously, it has to do with the more formal settings, such as the office, right? The job and work and all of that, right? Now, if you notice, this one is a letter that you should write to your manager, not to some random manager for example, a job posting or a job application, right? This is a letter that you have to write to your manager, right? So when you have to write a letter to your manager, that becomes, because there is a level of familiarity. Obviously, you are not friends with your manager. Even if you are, the setting is that you will be, you are not going to be informal with your manager. So there's always going to be a level of formality, even if that manager is actually your friend, right? So when it comes to work, then obviously you need to be careful. So the vocabulary and the style and the format that you need to follow has to be semi-formal and not truly absolutely formal. And obviously definitely not informal, because obviously you're talking, this has to do with the job, right? Now, whoever is joining in, please comment if you are with me and where are you from? Where are you tuning in from? If you're tuning in from Pakistan or from somewhere else. And I would really appreciate it if you would, interact with me as I ask you these questions. So we're discussing this task that was given on June 25th in Pakistan for the IELTS general training. This is task 1. You can see it on your screen, and I hope you can hear me well. So we just discussed the task as being in the semi-formal format. Now, in order to get a higher band score, meaning 7 and above, you need to make sure that you answer all the parts of the task. So what I will do right now is I am going to discuss it. Obviously, I won't be able to do it in complete detail, but I'm going to go through it in one way or the other. So if you read the task, it says your company sent you abroad to take a training course and you want to extend your stay abroad. So what is the purpose? You see, first of all, you need to talk about the purpose of the letter. So the purpose is that you need an extension in your stay abroad. And your stay abroad isn't for holidays. You didn't go abroad for vacation, right? You went there because your company sent you on a training course tour. So you want an extension. So you need to make sure that your purpose is very clear, and you mentioned that in the very first paragraph. And people who take my course, they know that I always teach the letter in this format. First of all, you need to talk about the purpose. Why are you writing the letter? It has to be completely clear, super clear. So if your purpose isn't clear in the very beginning of the letter, there's going to be an issue with your task accomplishment. And then you move on and you start addressing your bullet points. Over here, I have deliberately put numbers on them, 1, 2, and 3, so that it's going to be easier for you to follow through and follow along with me. So you need to write the letter for the extension, requesting the extension in your stay abroad. And why do you want that? You have 3 different points to cover. If you don't cover all these 3 different points, there could be an issue, right? So the first point that you need to talk about is the benefit. You need to talk about the benefits of the course, right? So you need to write to your manager about the benefits of the course. Obviously, your manager perhaps isn't that aware as you are, because you went there and you went through the course as well. So you want to explain to your manager the benefits, the advantages of this course, right? Now, if you start writing about the what does the course cover, the contents of the course, is it going to be good or bad? Comment below and let me know. If you talk about the contents of the course, for example, the syllabus of the course, right? So is it going to be something good that is going to give you a higher score or a lower score? If you talk about the content of the course, comment below and let me know. Now, if you mention the syllabus or the content of the training course, you're not going to have a very high score, because it's highly likely that you're going to go on a tangent. You're probably going to really get into the syllabus of the course, and you need to be very careful about that, because you need to talk about only the benefits. I mean, there could be sometimes an overlap between the content of the course, that the content itself is very beneficial, right? In that case, yes, you may mention that. But the point is, your focus is the benefits or the advantages of the course. For example, if it's a course about, accountancy or taxation or audit, for example, right? So you need to explain to your manager why would you want to stay for longer, and you want to, benefit further from the course, because probably there is a follow-up course going on. There's a follow-up course offered by the same company who did this first training course. So there, and if you are given a chance, if you have the opportunity to attend that follow-up course, this will bring more experience, more extensive experience for your company. So this is one benefit of the course that you want to attend, right? And this way you can add just one more to give more examples and to elaborate it in the right way. Then the second point is why you want to stay. Again, the benefits of staying. If you leave, there may not be, this course may not be offered online. So you have to, be there physically present, right? You have to be physically present, right? So if you're physically present there, that's the only way you will be able to follow. You will be able to explain that in a better way. I'm so sorry. I'm getting a bit distracted because a few people are asking me how to join the live stream. Guys, the link is in my Instagram bio. Okay. Now let's talk about the third one, which is when you will come back. Now, this is, again, it's really important because you want to explain when is it that you want to return. I mean, obviously, that extension that you're requesting from your manager cannot be unlimited, right? There's going to be, obviously, an end to that. So you want to write very, very clearly when is it that you would want to return. Thank you, Mehtab. Thank you for your comment. So these are the 3 points that you want to make sure that you write about and you elaborate and you give details. Now, if you want to have a very, if you want to, score 7 and above, you want to make sure that you are, first of all, writing about these. So you mentioned that, right? And secondly, you make sure that you're giving an example or explaining it, right? Chemical expert, could you please mention your name? You've just joined in. Where have you joined in from? I'd appreciate it if you'd mention that in the chat. All right. So far, people who have just tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. This is my first ever live. So I'm just sort of experimenting as well. And inshallah, I hope that this live is going to be very, very useful for people who are about to sit the exam in the next couple of months, inshallah. So this is an actual IELTS writing task 1 for the general training. All right. So, okay, Tayyib, you're from heaven. Okay, we're all from heaven, aren't we? Thank you for tuning in. So it's important that, you go through it and the prompts that I'm sharing with you, it's a very good idea that you note them down on your notebooks. And once the live is over, you can write down your answers, right? And I have a public, IELTS group as well called IELTS Nuggets. It's a public group. You can post your response there. Very occasionally, I don't promise that I do it very often, but occasionally I do look at the answers that are posted there, and sometimes I comment. You can also post your answer, your response on my Facebook page, which is IELTS Nuggets again. So this is the first, goodie that I wanted to share with you. I hope it's all making sense. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in. I see a few people have joined in. Now, let's move on to task 2. Again, this was 25th June, general training IELTS in Pakistan. And this, now, next up, I'm going to show you task 2. All right. Now, before I show you the prompt, I would want you to take a wild guess. Think about, just write in the chat box which one of these essays was given. Was it number 1, the problem solution essay, number 2, the advantage disadvantage essay, or number 3, opinion essay, which is, sometimes it could be in the form of agree, disagree, or it could be slightly differently worded. So I'm gonna, keep quiet for 15 seconds or so. I would let you put in the chat box your answer. So number 1, you can just put the numbers, number 1, number 2, or number 3. Which one do you think? It's just a wild guess. Which one do you think would it be? And then I will share with you the actual question, the essay prompt that was given. Manaza thinks it's the third option. All right. Manaza, where have you tuned in from? Could you please mention your city? Yes, obviously there are more types, Tayyib, you're right. I haven't written all of them. I've made it easier for you. To pick from 3 is better, or easier, not better, easier than picking from 5, isn't it? There are actually 6. If you really look at them, there are actually 6 different types of essays, not... Mehtab says, please start spoken course. Inshallah, inshallah. It's in the pipeline, Mehtab. Just hang in there, inshallah. I'm going to offer it soon, inshallah. Thank you, Manaza, for tuning in from Canada. All right, so I think I've got audience from Lahore, Canada, and probably Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much, people, for joining in. I would really appreciate it if you could share the link with your friends and family. I would most probably upload the replay, but I'm not sure. That's why the live is important, right? I'm not sure if I'll be able to upload the replay. So yeah, we have to do it right now. Alrighty. So the 3 different types of essays, and let's see what was given. There we go. Looks like Manaza had some insiders. A little birdie might have told her that it was the opinion essay. But the way it's worded here, I would let you read it. I'm going to keep quiet for 30 seconds. I would let you read it from the screen, and let's discuss it afterwards. All right, so now let's discuss. The prompt reads, today some young people say that their mobile phones are the most important thing they own. Do you think that popularity of mobile phones is a good or bad thing? So, hey, Al Hanouf. Get well soon, honey. I hope you're feeling better. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Riyadh. All right, so let's read it again. Today, some young people say that their mobile phones are the most important thing they own. Now, you see, this is the premise that's given to you. And then they ask you the question, do you think that popularity of mobile phones is a good or bad thing? Now, if you notice, this is actually asking for your opinion. They didn't say, do you agree or disagree, right? However, they have still asked for your opinion. When the question is, do you think that the popularity of mobile phones is a good or a bad thing? When the question is, whether something is good or bad, that's again asking for your opinion, because in your opinion, in your point of view, according to your in your perspective, do you think that this popularity of cell phones that's on the rise, is it a good development? Is it a good thing? Or do you think it's detrimental in any way? Right? So this is what the essay is about. So we need to be very careful about identifying the correct type of essay that we need to write. Only then we'll be able to organize it in the best possible manner, so that we can achieve a high band score when it comes to task response for our IELTS essay. So, and then you got the generic question, which is, or the instructions, basically the generic instructions. Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write 250 words. A catch for a little tip for people who have joined the live, that you shouldn't be relying on 250 words. Always write more than 250 words. All right. And people who join in my courses, they know that I always give them a number that is way more than 250, less than 300, but more than 250, because you want to be on the safer side. You don't want to, lose any marks or get any, marks deduction, score reduction, just because you didn't write ample words. So now what you need to do is you want to make sure that you will give your opinion, whether you think it's something good, it's a good development, it's positive, it's a positive development, or if you think that it's a negative development, if it's something bad that's going on, especially for our for the adolescents, for the younger people. Now, just a few things about the essay. If you look at the prompt, it says, today some young people say that their mobile phones are the most important thing they own. Now, what if I start writing about the benefits of mobile phone? Am I going to get a higher band score? So I give like 4 to 5 different advantages of mobile phones. Is that something good or bad to do? Would that give me a higher band score or a lower band score? Think about it and type your response in the comments or in the chat box. Now, the idea is that if you start writing about the benefits of using mobile phones, that is definitely going to be wrong. And you will be penalized for that, because you will be going off, on a tangent. You will be going into some sort of diversion. They didn't ask for the benefits of using mobile phones, right? So that's important that you do not discuss that, but rather you talk about the popularity of mobile phones in young people, and it being a positive development or a negative development. So you're going to talk about mobile phones being more, getting more and more popular amongst the youth, and you can talk about how this popularity is detrimental to their psychological being, to their psychological health, as well as to their physiological health. Because people who use mobile phones a lot, they develop a certain posture. So you can just talk about it, just write that a little bit, and don't go into a lot of detail. What you're trying to do is you're trying to back up your claim that some people think that it's a detrimental. development. Young people, the adolescents should not be using a lot of phones, and this popularity of clinging on to their devices all the time is actually not very beneficial for them, right? And then you will discuss the how some people believe that it's actually a positive development. Now make sure that you talk about both of them, because if you don't, your answer is going to be partially correct, and you don't want to do that. You want to answer your the question fully, so that you could get a higher band score for task response. Alrighty, let's move on now to the surprise. Now, this is something that has never happened before. The reading passage for the IELTS general training, passage 3 for the academic IELTS, and the third section of the IELTS general training were exactly the same. This has never happened before. This has never happened before, ever. At least I haven't come across this situation where the exact passage was repeated for the IELTS general training and academic IELTS. It has never happened before. However, the good thing is, and I'm really humbled to know that the way I train people for IELTS and the kind of methodology that I use has actually proved to be amazing when in situations like these happen. So people who attend my paid course, especially the level 2 or advanced IELTS preparation course, they would second that. What I do for the general training IELTS and the academic training IELTS is that I start preparing people regardless of their IELTS tier, regardless of what type of IELTS they're going to take, whether it's the academic IELTS or whether it's the general training IELTS. I always start off with training them on academic IELTS reading. I always train even those who would eventually sit the general training IELTS. I start off by training them with the content from the academic reading. So I use the academic reading material to train them for the general training. Now, some trainees have, sometimes they get confused in the beginning, especially, of course, when they're like, oh, you know what, Ms. Aisha, we're not going to sit the academic test. Why are you teaching us all about the academic test? Just give us the material for general training reading. And I always tell them to trust me on that. I know what I'm doing, right? And alhamdulillah, I'm so humbled that, you see, this has really proved to be an amazing technique, because imagine having the same passage repeated across board for both academic and general training IELTS. Isn't that amazing? Subhanallah. So the reading passage 3 in the IELTS academic test, and the third section, which is, if you have already got some idea, the third section in the IELTS general training is the longest and it's the most challenging one. So they were exactly the same. And how do we get to know that? One of my students was very generous enough. She took the test on June 25th, and then one of her friends also took the test, which was academic test. So she sat the general training test and her friend sat the academic test. And when they tallied their questions, they were really surprised to realize that actually the last passage for both of the tests was exactly the same. And the theme was the history of American cinema or movies. All right. So that was a pretty surprising, thing for me, a very surprising development. But it was very humbling, and it was very, encouraging at the same time, because the way I teach IELTS, with the grace of Allah, it's really working. So that was one more proof that the way I teach and I train people, alhamdulillah, is very fruitful. And no wonder I'm really humbled to tell you that most of those people who have sat the test after my training, none of them ever scored below 7.5 in reading. One of my students scored a full 9 band score in IELTS academic. Another one scored 8.5 in general training IELTS. So it's doable, it's possible. All you need is the will. All you need is to put in hard work and follow the advice of your trainer, your mentor, if they know what they're doing. Now, a bonus. If you have stuck around with me in this live, here's a bonus for you if you're going to be sitting the IELTS academic. June 16th, 2022, this was the question that was given for IELTS Task 2. So in many countries, fast food is becoming cheaper and more widely available. Do the disadvantages of this outweigh the advantages? So again, this was an advantage-disadvantage essay. And over here, again, we're not going to get into the reasons why fast food is becoming cheaper and why it is becoming widely available. If you get into the why, if you start talking about the reasons why the fast food is becoming more and more, is becoming cheaper, is becoming more widely available, then you're going to be going on a tangent, and that would not be a good news for your score, because that your score is going to drop. It could even drop to as low as 5, and in some cases 4.5, and obviously you don't want that, right? So be very clear and be very focused in terms of just mentioning the advantages of this trend, meaning the fast food becoming cheaper, 1, and 2, more widely available. So you want to talk about the advantages, and then you want to explain some disadvantages as well. And then the third part of the question is you want to write and give your own opinion if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. You can disagree. You can say, well, no, the disadvantages of this trend where fast food is becoming cheaper is becoming more easily available, this has actually more disadvantages than advantages, right? And as long as you back up your claim with examples, you're going to score above 7, inshallah. As long as your grammar is good, you've got a good range of sentence structure, you've got a good range of vocabulary, so your lexical resources on point, your grammatical resource and accuracy is on point, and the essay, the overall cohesion and coherence is pretty good. You've organized your thoughts really well. You've used the transition words and cohesive devices. Then no one can stop you from scoring beyond 7. It's not that scary, if you train well and if you work hard systematically in the right direction. Alrighty, this is it. Thank you for sticking around. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My name is, on Instagram, it's IELTS Nuggets. On Facebook, it's IELTS Nuggets Official. And the links are in the description box as well on this YouTube, under this YouTube video. And please, please, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps a lot. And, subscribe the channel for more lives, inshallah. I'm going to be, I'll try to come on live more often, inshallah. And the next live is going to be most probably about the speaking questions given in the month of June. So some of the real speaking questions, I'm going to talk about those in my next live, inshallah. If not next week, maybe the week after next week, inshallah, the following week. And I would appreciate it if you would join in and, share my social media with your family and friends, and subscribe to my channel as well. Hit the like button and turn on the bell icon as well, so you don't miss out on any new videos that I put up. Thank you so much, and I will inshallah see you in my upcoming maybe YouTube live, but I'm more often hanging around. Hanging out on Instagram. So I do hang out on Instagram a lot. I do post stories almost every day, and I do posts at least once a week. I definitely put up a post there. So yeah, do check it out. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. And God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum.